States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting, West Burlington City Council, to order. Roll call, please. The motion with support. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner.
Aye.
Whitmire.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
The motion carried. Consent agenda, item number 10, pull that off of there. Conference got canceled. And item number 11, I'm going to leave on just in case that conference is still going to happen.
Motion approved is amended.
Mayor, from what I was told, that was canceled as well.
Is it?
Yeah, from the sheriff's office.
We'll just pull that one too then.
Okay, if they end up rescheduling it, we can just put it back on.
Okay. That motion with
Motion approved is double amended.
Support.
motion with support, and the motion with support is to approve consent items 1 through 9 and 12, which is the minutes from the regular city council meeting on March 4th, 2020. Approved payment to Diligent Corporation. Approved payment to Red Municipal and Industrial Equipment Company. Approved payment to Joint Safety Committee. Approved payment to Greater Burlington Partnership. Approved payment to Dave Schmidt Construction. Approved payment to Burlington Municipal Waterworks. Approved payment to Tyler Technologies. Approved payment to J&M Displays. And approved the claims list as presented in the amount of $393. Any discussion? Roll call.
Whitmire.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
The motion carried. Staff reports. Dan?
Only thing I have, I want to just tell the general public, whoever's watching, that try to bear with us. We're trying to keep our staff safe. We'll try to serve you as best we can. Call us first if you need in City Hall. Otherwise, try to do whatever you can electronically.
Anybody have anything for Dan? Mike's not here tonight. We kind of told him to stay away. And he doesn't have anything to report this week anyway. So, Jesse, got anything?
Couple things. They did go ahead and the academy is closed down. They were sent home. My two guys were sent home. They are doing webinars at work here for the next 2 weeks for classroom. They got a few classes that are mandatory that we can take care of either with our guys or with Burlington or the Sheriff's Department, so they should not have to go back up to the academy. They will be done on or before April 14th, which was their original graduation date anyway. So that does not affect anything with them. The only effect is they will not have a graduation and that kind of, but they'll still get all their paperwork, all their certifications, everything through the state of Iowa. So they'll be good to go. They sat through 8 hours of webinar today, so it is what it is. I did go around all the restaurants and bars today, and they were all in compliance. Nobody was in there serving at the table, nobody was eating at the tables or anything. So I'd like to thank everybody for cooperating and showing their effort of getting through this.
Anything for Jess? Sean's not here either. Kelly, got anything going on? Leslie?
No.
All right, Kathy? Andy?
I'd like to take just a moment, obviously on 4th of July stuff, I'm going to slow down just a little bit. Anything that we have to pay in advance, I'm going to slow down and try to push off as long as I can until we see how things are going over here in the next couple weeks or month. Also just like to encourage as those here at City Hall are making decisions, though it may not be a time when we vote on it, I'd sure like to at least have some information beforehand, be able to give some input where we can. at least to have some buy-in from this council so that they feel included in decisions moving forward. So, thank you.
Royce?
Nothing.
Please?
Nope.
Al?
Good.
Okay. To address that a little bit, Andy, of what you just said, you know, the nation and the state of Iowa and the local communities, we're kind of in an unprecedented state of emergency right now. And none of us alive up here today, we've lived through anything like that. And some of the disasters that have affected our daily lives, but not like the one that we're living through today. No one knows when this crisis is going to come to an end. And we as leaders of our community have to consider foremost the well-being of our citizens and our city employees in West Burlington. With the federal and the state government taking the leadership on this crisis, many things that we consider normal in our everyday lives are changing. Advice and direction are very fluid, and sometimes we will have to implement the changes without asking for directions or notifications that are the normal procedures. There's no one up here that doesn't want input from anybody, but when the governor or the feds come down and say you need to do this or that, and it's considered the welfare of the community, I'm going to take the lead, and that's my job. You as council people, your job is to sit here and make policy. That's your job. It's not to second guess anybody or anything. You can do that at this table. But when it comes to being out there, you're a regular citizen. That's all you are. So I want to ask our citizens to listen to what the CDC has to say and refrain from gathering, in large groups, no more than 10. And I want to make sure that they know that they need to wash their hands and stay home, and make sure that if they need to get out, just to get the essentials that will keep their households going. And as stated in this proclamation that's coming up, City Hall is going to have limited access. We have 2 people that sit out here every day, and they come in contact with the people that come in here, and I'm going to make damn sure that those 2 people are protected. And I really don't care what you as council people think about me doing that kind of stuff. I'm going to do it. That's my job, and that's Dan's job, to make sure that that happens. So,
If I can have a moment to respond to that,
I'm not
Hans.
done yet, Andy.
All right.
And I hope that this inconvenience is short-lived and that we can get over this as soon as possible, but it's going to take all of us to do that.
All I want to say is I don't disagree with the actions you are taking. I think that leadership is needed. However, I also think part of being a leader in this community is making sure that we have open communication. And I think there just could have been a 30-second phone call to each council person to at least say, here's what I'm thinking and why. If you get phone calls from citizens, here's why we're doing it. I know I've taken over 20 calls and really didn't have a great reason to say why we're doing this right now today. So that's all I'm talking about, is open communication.
May I add something, please?
Sure. Kathy.
I also agree. I just wish I had been contacted yesterday, because I feel like as a council member, I'm a representative of this city, and I had people ask me, what's West Burlington doing? And I really didn't have an answer. I didn't know. I had been up here in the morning to find out, to talk about it, but Dan had just left. I just missed him, and I came back in the afternoon. But in the meantime, things had been sent out by email, and I didn't even know. So I was telling people in the community, I don't know what's going on, and it had already been decided. So I would appreciate just a group email. Takes about 30 seconds. Council members, this is what we're doing, and we'll let you know. We'll keep you informed, because I feel like if I'm representing the city, I need to know what's going on.
Well, like I said,
And I would appreciate it.
None of us have ever lived through anything like this.
No, we haven't.
I've done a couple of close things, an ice storm in 2010 or 12, and the floods in 2008, but it's nothing compared to what this is. So,
And I did send an email out like 15 minutes before the press release went out. but apparently everybody doesn't check their email all the time. So now I've decided I'm gonna text you people that have text. Royce,
Yeah, I'll get with you. I'll
you
get
have to
with
join the, you have to get with the program or get into the future or something. But before we send out that email, I'll send you a group text that says there's an email coming out to make sure you guys check that ahead of time, because my goal is always to try to get your guys' information before you see it somewhere else. I try to do that as best I can. Doesn't always happen, but
Thank you.
in this case, I did send it out like 15 minutes before the thing went out, but some of you didn't see it, so.
Yeah, thank you, but I think my point was more, even let us know that you're discussing, you know, what you're going to be doing, because I didn't even know that was going on. I came up to try to discuss and didn't know it had already had taken place, so I would appreciate that, please.
Okay. Try to do better. Okay, proclamations. And the first proclamation is addressing the state of emergency or a public danger that exists because of the threat of the spread of the COVID-19 virus. And that is, whereas COVID-19 poses a serious threat to the public health and safety of the city of West Burlington, Iowa, as outlined by the Centers for Disease Control, and whereas the Iowa Department of Public Health has now determined that community spread of COVID-19 has occurred in the state of Iowa, and whereas the CDC has recommended that persons do not congregate in gatherings of over 10 persons to attempt to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in the general public, and whereas the Honorable Governor Kim Reynolds has recommended all school districts within the state of Iowa close for a period of 4 weeks to help to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 within the state, and whereas Section 372.14 of the Code of Iowa 2019 grants the mayor powers to declare an emergency and govern through proclamation to protect the health and safety of the citizens of West Burlington. Now therefore, I, Hans K. Troussel, duly elected mayor of the city of West Burlington, Iowa, do hereby proclaim until further notice the following: that a state of emergency or public danger exists within the city of West Burlington because of the threat of the spread of the COVID-19 virus. That based upon the advice of the CDC and other public health agencies, I hereby declare that West Burlington City Hall will have limited access to the public. Staff shall report as normal. Citizens may utilize various alternatives for paying utility bills and conducting any other essential city business. Official meetings of the West Burlington City Council shall be open to the public as required by state and federal law. That pursuant to CDC recommendations, gathering of 10 or more people are strongly discouraged until further notice. That this proclamation of emergency may be modified and or superseded by future proclamations of the office of Mayor, West Burlington, Iowa, as future events warrant. That all aspects of this proclamation of the office of the Mayor of the city of West Burlington, Iowa, shall be enforceable by the West Burlington Police Department, and any violation of the same shall be a violation punishable as a simple misdemeanor. More information will be shared with the public as it becomes available. Now, if anybody asks me, I hate doing any of this. I'll be the first one, to admit that, hey, I don't want to tell people that they can't come in here, or they can't conduct business, or that a tavern has to close, or a business has to close. So, like I said, it's unprecedented.
I will add too that we have continued to help customers as they've
Yeah.
come in, set up new accounts with people, got a business license coming in. I mean, no one has ever been turned away for service at all, so. For the most part, I think the majority of people are seem like they are staying in, so.
Second proclamation, Junior Achievement Day. Whereas the city of West Burlington recognizes junior achievement of the Heartland's purpose to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in global economy. Whereas the city of West Burlington will observe JA Day on April 2nd, 2020 as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate junior achievement of the Heartland for empowering our young people to own their economic success. Whereas junior achievement of the Heartland educational contribution equips our young people to become the next generation of productive employees and self-sufficient citizens to ensure the economic prosperity of West Burlington. Whereas junior achievement of Heartland includes opportunities for educators, parents, and community volunteers to connect classroom learning to life after graduation. Whereas it is fitting for West Burlington to support the goals of junior achievement at Heartland, and we encourage a continuing partnership of business, education, and community in achieving these said goals. Whereas it is fitting for West Burlington to support the goals of junior achievement, whereas it is fitting for parents, educators, business, and other members of the community to join the celebration effort to ensure the future success and economic health of our young people and the communities in which they live. Therefore, I, Hop Strausel, Mayor of West Burlington, do hereby proclaim official recognition as April 2nd, 2020, as Junior Achievement Day in the city of West Burlington. Next. Anyone wishing to address the council on matters that we have discussed so far or haven't discussed? Nobody rising. We've got a couple of public hearings. And the first one is the public hearing on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Did we receive any public comments, verbal or written? Okay. As always, Leslie and the rest of that and staff has prepared a pretty good PowerPoint presentation, and I want to take a few minutes to kind of go through that. And Leslie, you can do the clicker, and I'll do the I can.
Okay.
First is the cover page for us for 2021. Will it work?
That's right, I always want to point.
You got to point up there.
There?
No, up there. There you go. It's working. All right, page 2, it says, kind of shows you the layout of the state of Iowa. We've got 300 cities that have a lower tax rate and 641 cities that have a higher tax rate for fiscal year 1920, the year that we're in right now. Out of 21 cities in the 25 to 3,500 population range, 2 have lower tax rates and 22 are higher. They range from $7.71 to $20.46, with an average tax rate of $14.34 compared to West Burlington's tax levy rate of $10 for fiscal year 1920. The levy rate comparison with other cities in Des Moines County, you can see that West Burlington has the lowest city levy rate at $10 per thousand. Next page. Tells you the valuations by major classes and what we had for growth as of January 1st, 2019, which is used for this coming up budget year. 100% valuations without ag is $304,954,559, which is a 3.74% growth. Of that, the breakdown is $131,175 as residential. Commercial is 123, almost 124 million. I'm not going to read all the numbers. And industrial is a little over 12 million, and multi-residential is almost 8 million. And you can see that multi-residential has only been a category since January 2015. Next page. The taxable valuations used for setting the levy rates. The assessors completed doing a reassessment, and the commercial industrial reevaluations were reflected in this year's, the 1920 numbers, and the residential are reflected in the 2021 numbers. And most of the growth in taxable assessment in 2021 is due to the city's reduction in the request for TIF collections. So we have taxable valuations by major classes. So you can see we go back all the way down from 13, 14 up to this next coming year. In 2021, residential taxable valuations is a little over 72 million. Commercial is at 111, but that's actually about a 5 million drop from this year. Industrial is just a little slightly more, 10, almost 11 million, and multi-residential there's a slight drop there from this coming year from this year at 5.6 million. The rollback, the chart shows you from going back all the way from 05, 06, what the rollback was for residential, agricultural, commercial. Back then, it was residential was 47.96, agricultural was at 100%, commercial was at 100%, and industrial at 100%. And you go down to the 15-16 year, that's where multifamily kicked in. As you can see throughout the year, multifamily is going to drop until it is levels out with residential in the year 23, 24, I believe. So you can also see that over the years from 04 or from 05, 06, residential was a little right at 48%, to where 2021 it's at 55% the rollback. And the next is just a kind of a graph that shows you how it's been progressing over the years. Multi-residential property, that started beginning in 16-17 year. They began rolling back, and it's according to the following schedule. As you can see, 19-20, the year we're in, it's at 75%. 2021, next year, it will drop down to 71.25%, and then by 23, 24, and thereafter, it's going to be the same as residential. And for 2021, we've had about almost 5.7 million multifamily taxable valuations. This the multifamily kind of shows you, since its beginning, what the assessed valuations were. So if you had a multifamily resident and your valuation was at $250,000 back in 15-16, you paid 100% of that. So your taxes at the $10 tax rate was $2,500. This coming year, that same 250,000 assessed value, you're going to be, the rollback is 71.25%. So the taxable value is $178,125. At the $10 tax rate, it's going to be $1,781. So if you add that 344, the 94, and the 93, and the 94, and the 94 together, you can see there's almost an $800 savings to the owner of a multi-residential family property. And the next thing is just a chart that shows you how the rollback is going down on them. The commercial industrial property tax replacement, and everybody basically knows that by the backfill. The legislature created that standing appropriation in fiscal 2015 to promise to reimburse the governments for tax reductions due to the 10% rollback for commercial industrial property owners. And the standing appropriation was promised to continue, but it was going to be capped at the actual fiscal year 2017 amount. So if your assessed value in fiscal year 2017 was $1 million and your assessed value in 2021 is $1.2 million, you're still only going to, the backfill is going to be based off of that $1 million. For fiscal year 18-19, the bill came out of the Senate subcommittee proposing a 2-year phase out. which was gonna start in fiscal year 19, and then at completion of 2020, but that reduction did never get voted on, and no discussion so far has occurred to date about the 2021 year, but the state legislature, it's an appropriation bill, so it's still eligible for debate. Something could happen. I've been trying to have a call into the leak every Monday morning and see what they're talking about, what's going on at the State House, but as of Monday, all the call-ins have been suspended because the legislature is out of, they shut down. And in the general fund and employee benefits for fiscal 1920, we anticipate to receive approximately $102,000, and that would be equivalent. If we had to raise that $102,000, we'd have to have a 57-cent increase in the levy. So everybody kind of knows that property tax dollars are the city's largest source of funds for the general government operation, and we've budgeted to receive almost 1.8 million in property tax dollars at the $10 tax levy rate. That's an increase of about 188,000 from the amount budgeted to receive in this fiscal year. And there's several factors that determine the amount of the property tax dollars received, and those of course include the levy rate, property values, and the rollback. And this is due to an increase in property values of almost 19 million, and a change in the rollback by 1.8% for residential and 3.75% for multi-residential. The state limits the amount the cities can levy, which is for the general fund, which is $8.10 per thousand of taxable value, and additional levies that we have in West Burlington outside the 810 limit are the liability and property and self-insurance costs, which is a little over 20 cents, the FICA and the IPERS, which is about 73 cents, 73.5 cents, and other employee benefits at 96 cents. So our total tax rate for the 2021 that was published is at $10 per thousand. And this next slide, kind of, if anybody's interested, they can kind of figure out how to calculate their property taxes, which is you start with the assessed property values, then apply the rollback. In order to get the taxable valuation, then the tax levy rate is applied to the tax valuation. So if you have an assessed value of $100,000, you take that times the rollback of 55.0743%. That means you're going to be paying taxes on $55,074 on your property. So you take that taxable value of $55,074 times the levy rate at $10 and divided by 1,000, and that is your property tax to the city is $551 for fiscal 2021. And this next chart kind of shows you what some of the examples what a residential house with an assessed value of $100,000 would pay in property taxes to the city of West Burlington, and it goes all the way back for 10 years from 09-10 to 2021. So the rollback back in 09-10 was 45.5893%, where for 2021 it's 55.074%, and it shows you what the taxable values are on each one and what the levy rate has been over the 10 years from $9.86 to $10, with a high of 2 years there at $10.10. And the same thing, this next chart is for commercial property. Commercial property up until 14-15 was valued at 100%. So if you had $1 million commercial property assessed value, and back then at the 975 rate, you were paying $9,750 taxes per year. In 14-15, the commercial property rollback went to 95%, and then in 15-16, it went to 90%, and has stayed at 90% since then. So $1 million property in 2021 at 90%, you're going to pay taxes on $900,000. At $10 per thousand, you're going to pay $9,000 per year per taxes. But you can see over the years, it's about almost close to $800 in drop of having taxes for a commercial $1 million worth of commercial property. And we have the next slide is property tax history, which includes the West Burlington School District levy, the City of West Burlington levy, Des Moines County levy, and Southeastern Community College levy, for a total levy of back in 10-11, it was $42.47, to where in 19-20 this year, the total levy combined for all three of those is at $33.53, where the school receives 43.3% of that, the county receives 23.4%, and the city receives 29.8%. And the next chart just kind of shows you from 9-10 to 19-20 what the tax levy has been. The general fund, of course, is the chief operating fund of the city. Fiscal year 2021, general revenues are budgeted at $2,895,000 and expenses at $2,845,000. And this results in a budget surplus of around $49,000. At the end of fiscal year 2021, the general fund is estimated to have a balance of $569,000, and that would result in a reserve balance of about 17.5%. And the next page, the next chart shows you what over the years has happened to the general fund, where the bar graphs that go down is when we reduce the general fund. The bar graphs that go up is extra as revenues that increase the general fund. So we've used general fund dollars to basically subsidize, or we used reserves to subsidize the general fund over the years. Tax increment financing, or TIF. For 2021, we budgeted to receive $800,000 in TIF property tax revenues, which is down from the $1.3 million that we are receiving for fiscal year 19-20, and the following some of the expenses that would be paid in fiscal 2021. Campus community developers, those are the new dorms at the college, in the amount of $78,000. That's with using a TIF rebate for the Blackhawk and Millennium Hall. 2017 GO bond, that's for street projects, the amount of $611,000. 2015 residential project, $11,000. That's an internal loan. 2015 residential project, low to moderate income, and LMI. That's a set aside, which is required by law to do that, of $8,614. The West Burlington Condos project is an internal loan at $24,000. The West Burlington Condos LMI set aside is $8,600. Legal services loan for 2018 through 45 is $3,500 internal loan, and the Greater Burlington Partnership is $5,000 internal loan. So it's estimated the city will leave an unclaimed $3.7 million of TIF property tax revenues for fiscal year 2021, which means that 3.71 goes back to everybody's general fund. the county and the school district. Road use tax fund. Road use tax fund comes from vehicle registration fees, motor vehicle fuel taxes, and excise tax imposed on rental automobiles, and a use tax on trailers, and that is distributed upon, based on population. It comes from the state, and the amount estimated by the state for fiscal 2021 is a distribution rate of 128 per capita. But when doing the budget, Leslie always kind of estimates a little below that, so this year she's using $127 instead of the 128, because you never know what the state might change, and with this happening right now, I imagine there won't be too many vehicles on the road for a couple of months probably. Economic instability and fluctuating fuel costs can result in changes. And fiscal 14-15, the state increased the gas tax 10 cents per gallon, which resulted in an annual increase of about $50,000. And we budgeted to receive $382,000 from the road use taxes and expenditures of $388,000, which we had some reserves in there to cover that deficit expenditure. And that includes an increase of an annual budget from $15,000 to $50,000 for seal coating to be paid from the road use tax funds. Local option sales tax revenues, we're obligated to use 25% of the proceeds for property tax relief to pay off outstanding general obligation debt, and the remainder of the proceeds shall be used for police department and fire department services, capital improvements, capital equipment, or to pay off other debt obligations. As you can see, if we go all the way back to 2000, 2001, over the years, it has pretty much stayed between 350 to 500,000, with 1 year there we've received in 16-17 a little over 600,000, and that was based mainly on the fertilizer plant. Although that those 3,000 employees that were down there, they were spending a lot of money in local restaurants and stores and everything else. And next one is local option sales tax expenditures. We're estimating that the revenues are going to be $500,000, and we're budgeted to spend $611,000, and that's a spend down of reserves of $111,858 for fiscal year 2021. And what we're going to spend that on is police and fire expenditures in an amount of $247,000, debt service payments in the amount of $149,000, which is aerial fire truck, refurbishing Squad 4, and a state revolving loan fund of $24,000. Ambulance, we make our payment for our ambulance coverage in the amount of $18,000 out of that. The library, $36,000 per year for that. Airport, $22,000, our annual contribution to that. Economic development, $2,500. Capital Streets project and sidewalks, $127,000, and an airport capital reserve of $8,900. And the next page is this pie chart that kind of shows you that we've budgeted to receive almost $8.2 million in revenues, which excludes debt service borrowing of 4.2 and transfers of 2.3, and it tells you what the percentages are where the revenue's coming from. 31% property tax, 21% miscellaneous, 33% for charges for services, other taxes 7%, license permit 1%, use of money and property 1%, and intergovernmental. And then the tax revenue breakdown in the next pie chart is we receive approximately $3.5 million of its revenue from taxes, and the breakdown of where those taxes come from is shown below. We get 25% in tax increment financing, property taxes 45%, local option sales tax 15%, road use 12%, hotel motel 1%, other taxes 2%. And next pie chart is the expenditures by the function, which excludes the transfers. Capital projects are included in the sewer of 2.2 million, of which 1.3 are reimbursable, and water for 3.4 million. So the sewer is 29%, water is 36%, public safety 13%, public works 6%, culture and recreation 2%, community and economic development 1%, general government 5%, and capital projects 2%. The next page is capital projects and equipment that we're planning on doing in fiscal 2021. For the police department, a new vehicle, which is coming out of general fund, fire department, training site improvements, out of general fund, city vehicle, general fund dollars, Gear Avenue Trail, general fund, hotel motel, sidewalks, local option sales tax, seal code projects, road use funds, $50,000 come from local option, 50,000 from road use, and 30,000 from local option. Ballard, Pank, and Curve repair, utilizing local option sales tax. Street repairs, utilizing local option sales tax. Airport capital improvements, originally from local option. Flooring for the police department, that's originally from the general fund. Water tower storage, state revolving loan fund. Water main replacement on Meadow Street, water revenues, South Lift Station, SRF loan, Des Moines County landfill sewer line, that's reimbursable from the landfill. Lewis Park sponsored project, funds from SRF, which is non-repayable. So total projects for 2021, we're looking at doing about $6 million, a little over $6 million worth of projects. And we do transfers to the capital fund. So we're transferring for the airport capital fund from local option, for City Hall capital reserve from the general fund, and administration capital fund from general fund, fire capital equipment fund from general fund, police department capital fund from the general fund, pool capital equipment fund from the general fund, IT capital equipment fund from the general fund, water and sewer, and parks capital equipment fund from general fund, water capital account from the water fund, and sewer capital account from the sewer fund. Payroll, the employer share of IPERS is 9.44% for regular employees. There's no change for that for the coming year. 9.61 for police and fire, which is a slight decrease of 0.3%. The employee share of IPERS is 6.29 for regular employees, which is no change, and 6.41% for police and fire, which is a decrease of 0.2%. We budgeted a 2.5% wage increase. The city has budgeted to expend $1.6 million for wages for fiscal 2021. Health, dental, and life insurance costs include the partial self-funding of $418,000, and the employer share of IPERS cost is $150,491, and the employer share of FICA and Medicare cost is $123,598. Utilities and water. This is actually not, well, it is part of the budget, but it still needs to be voted on by you people sometime in, before July 1st. These are the tentative figures, what are budgeted. Water rates were budgeted to increase 75 cents per 1,000 gallon. The monthly distribution charge to go from $22 to $24.25. Of course, the first 3,000 gallon charge, there's no charge with payment monthly distribution. 3,000 to $1 million, from $765 per thousand to $840 per thousand. The next 500,000 gallons from 539 per thousand to 614 per thousand. All water over 1,000,005 is 344 per thousand to 419 per thousand. The user of 3,000 gallons of water would see an increase of $2.25 per month, or 27 per year. The user of 5,000 gallons of water would see an increase of $3.75 per month, or $45 per year. Sewer, garbage, and recycling. Due to DNR mandates, sewer rates have been increased significantly the last few years. For 2021, a 5.5% increase has been budgeted for sewer rates. The rate will be $10.61 per thousand, in addition to a $9.70 monthly user fee. Sewer capital project charge of $1 a month per user is budgeted to remain the same, and this generates about, I think, $20,000 annually.
Yeah.
And garbage rates presently are $13.25 per month, and no increase is budgeted for 2021. Recycling fees are presently $3.85, and will increase to $3.95, and that'll be a 10-cent per month increase, or $1.20 annually. Total increase for water, sewer capital project, garbage, and recycling based upon water usage. If you're using 3,000 gallons, it's $4.50 per month, or $54 annually. If you're around the 5,000 gallon user, you're going to see an increase of $7.10 a month, or $85.20 annually. And the last page shows you what we have on debt, and it shows you what the bonds are and what they are for, which is a 2011 general obligation bond, which matures in 2021. That's a rescue fire vehicle. The payment's going to be $36,550. The 2011 general obligation bond, which matures in 2021, the aerial fire truck. That comes from, both of those come from local option sales tax, and the payment for that will be $88,220. 2017 general obligation bond, which matures in 26-27. That's a street resurfacing reconstruction, and that will payment for that will be $611,735. State revolving fund general obligation bond, maturity in 27-28 for a water project. That payment is $24,781. Another state revolving water revenue bond, maturity of 27-28, another water project, comes from water. It's $23,480. State revolving sewer revenue bond, and matures in 2037-2038, is a wastewater plant improvement. That payment is $671,440. That comes from sewer. And the campus community developers rebate, the rebate agreement that comes from TIF, in the amount of $78,205. So you can see the total payments are $1,456,000. So according to what the Iowa Constitution, city's maximum debt capacity is 5% of the city's 100% assessed value, which is almost $305 million, which would be a maximum debt capacity of a little over $15 million. And the city going to begin fiscal 2021 at 27.2% of debt limit capacity, a little over $4 million, and we'll end the year at 22.48 at $3,428,000. Water and sewer revenue debt and internal loans are not included in maximum debt capacity calculation, and the city is budgeted to have $4.21 million of SRF loans for water and sewer projects for fiscal 2021. Unless they are substantially complete by May, no payment will be due in fiscal 2021. And that's the end of the presentation. Does council have any comments while we're still in public hearing? Okay. I'll close the public hearing. Second public hearing is a hearing on the proposed sale of approximately 2 acres of property consisting primarily undeveloped right-of-way within the Aurora subdivision. Receive any written comment, verbal comment? Anyone wishing to make a comment? We'll close that public hearing. New business. Consider resolution adopting the city budget and setting a tax levy rate for fiscal year 2021. I lost my stuff.
Motion approved.
Support.
The motion was support. Was there any discussion?
I'd like to, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Andy.
I'd like to take just a moment, first, Hans, just to thank you for leading us through the process. Obviously, my first time through on the city level. Leslie, especially, thank you for getting me answers to everything I wanted and needed in different scenarios, so thank you. I want to let the public know that in terms of finance, you really have your hands on things and can really get us any numbers we want, so I think they need to know that. I'm happy that we moved to using cash for the street sweeper. I would have liked to have seen some more cuts in the budget, but I'm going to approve of this budget myself and hope maybe we can vote down some of those as we go. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just wanted to thank Leslie for laying this out about as clearly as it could possibly have been done. Thank you.
Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you for everyone's participation in the process this year. Item number 2 is consider a resolution authorizing the sale of property to BK Real Estate LLC, subject to the terms, condition, consideration, and satisfaction of contingencies set forth in a purchase agreement.
Motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Motion with support. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is consider resolution setting public hearing date of April 1st, 2020 to consider vacating street and alley right-of-way in Roar subdivision.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
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 Carried. Item number 4 is consider resolution setting a public hearing date of April 15th, 2020 to consider a request for a voluntary annexation.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 is consider an engineering service agreement with French Renninger Associates for the reconstruction of Wheeler Street from the intersection of Schwartz Street west to the alley, approximately 120 feet, and the Ballard Street, Pennington Street curve repair. That's, their base fee is $6,200.
So move.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 6 is consider payment to Hickey Contracting Company for crack sealing along West Burlington Avenue in the amount of $7,950.
They did finish that project late Friday, so we're good to go to pay them.
Support.
You made a motion?
Yep.
Okay. Royce made a motion. Anybody support it?
Support.
Okay, motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Knightmeyer,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carried. Anyone have any old business? Anyone wishing to address council on matters that We did discuss or didn't discuss. Any council members, any other comments? If this continues to get worse, what are your thoughts with council meetings?
Well, I think if you're healthy and you don't have a fever, we can continue our meetings, and if, people are interested in coming, they'll probably know there's a limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, I can count out the 10,
Well, we got 10 right here, 11.
so that, they could phone in. We can use a phone-in thing if they need to.
Okay.
Is there anything legally we need to do?
We can do telephone stuff if we have to.
We don't have to, I mean,
Yeah.
our attorney has put some stuff together for other cities, because everybody's scrambling right now. Everybody's doing different things. Some cities are moving to pure electronic, and the attorney has a resolution. It's legal to do it. He has a resolution that he recommends you pass if we decide to go that way. I think that things will substantially change if we start getting cases in Des Moines County. Right now, we don't have any. It's likely to be really quick again. I mean, the last 2 days, the governor came out twice with 2 different instructions within 12 hours. I mean, it's really hard to keep up with what they're telling us to do and what they're wanting us to do, so we
I
try
would-
to keep up as much as we can.
I'd personally like to keep meeting in person as long as we can, and if directive comes down, we can scatter around.
Yeah,
the
that's
room
what
as
some
long as
cities
we
have-
possibly
That's what
can.
some cities have done, is they've scattered around the room and kept the social distance of 6 feet or whatever, and done that. So that's a step maybe before we go to pure electronic, but if things really get bad, we may have to go that way, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. We'll play it by ear and let everybody know. Okay. Just remember, wash hands, good hygienes.
And if somebody just doesn't feel good for a meeting, we can do electronically for one person too.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.